trust and respect must be earned in this league and everywhere else. And I told the players when I met with them in the locker room that to whatever degree they had confidence in the vision that I laid forth this week, I'm hoping that as a result of that contest, they may have a little bit more. But I also told them this, that I understand. I understand what they've been through. I understand how they may have doubts. I understand how they may be thinking internally rather than externally. I understand. I'm also heartbroken for them because there's a number of guys in that room that unequivocally bought in and sold out. And the vision that I had with how we play, not what play calls there were, not what coverages we run, but how we play the game, I saw evidence that guys were listening. And I saw evidence also that whatever relationship issues these players may have had with one another after going through all of this that they've gone through, it's easy to splinter. But I saw guys picking each other off the pile. I saw a couple of defenders push one of their players out of the way, pull him off the pile, and get their player up. I saw the bench engaging in interactive coaching with offensive linemen and secondary players and coaches, digging in to do all they could possibly do to win that game. So that all said, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. And I'm heartbroken for those guys because they both deserved a win, and I'm heartbroken for our Denver fans because this whole streak thing that y'all know about and if I keep getting asked about that I think is just fantasy has got to stop. And the only way it's going to stop is if we stop making errors down the stretch in the game, or we stop making errors at the beginning of the game that put us behind the 8 ball. Those things got to stop. So I made a commitment to those men in that room to be a better coach this week. I've got 1 week to coach this team, and I got to be better this week, and they got to be better. They got to pay more attention to the details that put us in those situations. But having said that, I have the deepest respect and gratitude to those men in that room because they fought. They fought to the very end, and that's worth a lot to me. So with that, I'll field any questions that you might have.
Jerry, it looked like you were pretty upset there at the end of the game. Was there a call that you thought you missed on that final fourth down play?
No, the fourth down play was the fourth down play. Okay, so I'm the interim head coach, right? But I know how the NFL office works when it comes to coaches criticizing officials. I thought that's a fine crew, and there's a lot of good officials, and this is a hard game to officiate. Now, that doesn't mean I can't have my disagreements. So what's the word that's kind of innocuous? Unfortunate, perhaps. That's pretty harmless. So, yeah, there was an unfortunate no call during that game that I disagree with. How's that? Is that okay? Yeah.
Coach, was the game plan to have Russell get back to his running ways? How do you feel like he was able to spread open the offense and get back to running with those two?
Well, the game plan, real frankly, was to play complementary football. These guys heard it from me all week long, and that included Russell Wilson because he's such an integral part of that offense and our whole team. So whatever it takes, I didn't call those plays. I didn't design those plays. The offensive coaches did, to their credit, and I thought it was a good way of getting us first downs to control the ball, control the clock, and play with our defense and play with our special teams to give us an opportunity to win in the fourth quarter, which we did not. Unfortunate, the word of the day. Highly, highly unfortunate. Oh, we'll see. I have to look at the tape.
Not in terms of officials' call. How would it work?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Fourth down play.
Yeah, we were going for it. We're trying to win, sir. Here's the deal. Like, we didn't come here to try to look good and, hold up. We came here to win. So you may have seen some fourth down calls earlier. I think we got a penalty on them and won. We got another one. We were sneaking one. Those players deserve to win. And we were going to be aggressive in that whole last series. And we had talked about it with Brad and Mark upstairs. And those were goes. We were going to win. We weren't going to go for a tie. We were going to kick a field goal. We were trying to send it to overtime. We need to win a game. So that's what we were thinking.
How would open? A couple tough plays early that were swung. What did you see from him and how he kept that element?
I've been in Albert O's ear all week long because I think he's a highly talented individual, and I haven't seen him on the field much this year, and I was just curious as to why that was, because he's a good-looking athlete, and you may have saw me over there in the tight end drills earlier in the week. It was for a reason. So I was happy that he turned it about, and he had whatever jitters he might have had. He seemed to me that he settled down because he's a big, talented guy, and he needs to play. He needs to play well.
We saw a number of plays made on special teams today, including the big play where Alex Singleton forced the fumble. What were you just, I guess, happy with what you saw out of that unit that struggled a lot?
Yeah, I was happy about that play. I was happy about the blocked field goal. I wasn't happy about the opening kickoff return. I wasn't happy about us getting a touchback. I mean, special teams has to be finely tuned. These players need to play with fundamentals. We worked so hard this week on teaching these players how to play special teams. I saw that out there. We played penalty-free on special teams, if I'm not mistaken. We played with aggression. We played with fundamentals. And good things happen when you do that. It's not about scheme. It's not about all that. It's just play well. And that fits with the offense and the defense. And that's why we need to do better. There's a number of situations in that game where we didn't do that, and we need to improve. But I was encouraged by the players' effort this week. As I told you all back in Denver, I got in the middle of that, and we'll be trending upwards, I hope. I'm going to work this week to make it better.
You still worried that this team committed too many errors. In your mind, what was the most critical error or errors that decided the outcome?
Well, I think when Azro can probably more accurately explain some coverage situations that didn't work out the way we wanted them, so to speak, and we got to do a better job of protecting our quarterback. There's too much pressure on that. That has to work in a more cohesive fashion. We can't throw picks. For whatever reason, however it happened, it doesn't make any difference. I'll look at it and have them explain to me what happens because I'm not that deep into it, as you might understand. So those are things that I see that we need to do better at. We have a lot of talent in that room. I mean, these players have been getting ripped. And one of you asked me about, what do you see there? And I see a bunch of talented players that need to come together and need to play with fundamentals and need to understand complementary football. And that was my mission this week. We made some progress, but it wasn't nearly good enough. These players deserve and need to win a football game. We've closed this thing out. We're planting seeds here. We're planting seeds. We want this thing to grow. And as I said the other day with Uncle Walt Whitman, captain, my captain, I may not see this bloom, but it'll be rich at some point in time down the road where these things come to their fruition, I guess I would say. Thank you.
Sure. Do the final two, Jeff, and then
Final two. Okay, I guess I'm not done. We'll try it one more time. That was my final line. So there's nothing to be nearly as articulate as that afterwards. Maybe that wasn't articulate. Go ahead. Justin, yes, I'm sorry. Justin Outen did call plays, and I did that. I already answered that question outside. I should have addressed that in here. I made the decision to move Justin in the box because I wanted Clint on the sideline with Russell Wilson. That is a relationship, a quarterback coach and a quarterback. It's different. It's not that anything else is bad. It's just different. They see the game differently. And so I wanted Clint with Russell. I didn't want the plays called from the sideline. That's why I had so much confidence in Justin to put him up the box and call the plays. And I said this earlier to someone else, but this is an example of what a team looks like, where two men, Justin and Clint can sit in a room with me, and everybody can put their egos aside, and they're not worried about their resumes. They're not worried about how it looks in the outside and the social media world, and nobody's trying to enhance their resumes. They're just trying to win a football game. And that's what those two men did, and I have the utmost respect for how they handled this week. And I would say the players that they coached.
Last one, Mark Rizzo. You talked about trust and respect at the top.
Yes, sir.
Not just this week, but during the course of the season since you've been here. What have you seen out of your defensive coordinator?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. I'm not.
What have you seen out of your defensive coordinator?
Oh, Israel. Oh, I think I talked about 10 minutes the other day about this, but Israel is a fine young coach. I mean, I say young just because it's relative to me, I guess, but he knows football and he knows what he wants. And the structure of his defense is so sound. I love it. And it fits in with what I see football being. And he is not afraid to make corrections, I would say that. There's a lot of coaches that how should I say this, would not be so forceful in their corrections. He's not afraid to tell. He'll confront everything, which I love that about him. He's not going to just let things slide because he doesn't want to hurt somebody's feelings. We're going to win football games, and he's willing to engage a relationship in an honest fashion that gets us to that point.